Hello students, we are discussing logic and inferences in Unit 8. Today we are going to discuss conversion to clause form, which is also called as CNF, that is conjunctive normal form. In last class we have seen how to convert given knowledge base, which is in English language, into predicate logic, first order predicate logic. Now today we will see for resolution procedure how to convert these English language sentences into standard form. Now let us discuss how to convert statements which are represented in predicate logic into CNF or clause form. Before that we will revise what we have discussed in the last class. Yesterday we have discussed what is predicate logic, why it is required, and then how to convert given English language statements into predicate logic form. Now, why there is a necessity to convert these statements which are in predicate logic form into CNF. And now today we will discuss the set of steps which you will have to carry out on those every English language statement, that is fact, so that you can convert it into the clause form. And this clause form conversion is required to make your statements consistent with each other, so that during matching process, resolution process can find out matching pair of predicates. In resolution, we know that you need to find out P and not P kind of pairs, complementary pairs, so that P and not P you can remove during resolution, and ultimately you will find out whether that leads to empty clause or not. So to make your representation consistent, you need to convert statements into normal form, specifically conjunctive normal form. Now let us see how to convert that every statement into CNF. So every statement has to go through at least the 7 steps. Every time it is not necessary that all steps has to be applied on given statement, but statement will go through the 7 step, and then sometimes you need to apply 8 and 9. So let us see how to do this. First step in this conversion process is eliminate all implications. So let us recall what is implication first. Implication is, suppose I have predicate statement A implies B. So you will have to remove this implication. So this you can easily do by using equivalence property. A implies B is equivalent to not A or B, not A or B. So wherever implications are there, you will be removing that using this property. Another example, suppose we have predicate P which implies Q and Q and Q and R. So to remove this implication, I will write that as P, that is not of P, or Q as it is, that is Q and R. So that's how you can remove implication by using this property. So after that, then applies step number 2. In step 2, you have to replace those not operators if their scope is with more than one predicate with single predicate. That means we say that reducing scope of not operator. So now to reduce scope of not operator, we know De Morgan's laws, so that can be used for this purpose. So there are various possibilities, like if you have not and its association with A and B. So use this property by De Morgan's law. This is equivalent to not A, this AND will become OR, and scope of this not will be with individual predicate. Similarly, you can have not A or B. This is equivalent to not A, so OR becomes AND, not B. Another variation of this, sometimes you can have not for all x P of x, because predicate logic we have arguments also. This is equivalent to, now the scope of this not is with both of this. So you have to reduce it. So by De Morgan's law, this is equivalent to this for all x becomes there exists x, and scope of not will be with individual predicate. Similarly, if you have not there exists x px, we know that by De Morgan's law this is equivalent to, so there exists x becomes for all x, not p of x. So there exists becomes for all, and scope of this not will be with individual predicate. So that's how you will be applying this step number 2 if required. Then step 3, which says that you standardize variables. Standardization of variables that refers to making all variable names unique. That means for different places, if you have used different variables for different purposes, then their variable name should be unique. No two variables, they should have same variable name, although it is legal. For example, suppose we have for all x one variable with this predicate px, and somewhere else we have for all x with another predicate q of x, and this x is different than that of this x. So this step says that you make all these variable names unique if they are used for different purposes. Here it is important that this x is different than this x. So therefore, if this is the case, since they are variables, simply what you can do, you can change the variable name. So I will write this as for all x1 p of x1, and for all x2 q of x2. Since you have changed the variable name and you have carried out substitution at all places, there is no problem, both these statements are equivalent. So that's how you can name these variable names unique. Next step is move all quantifiers to the left. Fourth step. Now in last step we have seen here you have standardized variables, so you can have something like this for all x1 p of x1, and for all x2 q of x2. So move all quantifiers to the left. So here there are for all quantifiers, so what we will do, we will move them to the left hand side. Since you have standardized variables, if you change their place, that will not change meaning of the sentence. So that will give you for all x1, for all x2, so we have moved them to the left. This we have moved to this place. P of x1 and q of x2. Remaining statement will remain as it is. So if required, this fourth step you will have to apply. Whatever you get, that output form is called as Phoenix normal form. Then eliminate existential quantifier, fifth step, which is important because we must know now how to remove implication, existential quantifiers. Now we can have something like this. There exists y p of y. So how to remove this? There exists y. Eliminate existential quantifier. This is existential quantifier out here. Existential quantifier is there exists y. So for that purpose we must understand what is meaning of this. Meaning of this is there exists some value of y for which p of y is true. So if I know that particular value of y, I can remove there exists y and I can substitute that value in place of y. So if I know the value, I can replace this y with that value and that will remove this there exists y. If I do not know that value, you introduce a function as an argument to the predicate, assuming that that function will return that constant value because we know that function returns some value. So in the hope that it will return the required value so that you can remove this there exists y. So this is equivalent to, I can write that as p of some function f which will return that required value. But if I know the constant, then no problem, you can simply substitute that value with constant. For example, for all x there exists some y such that this y is father of x. So we have to remove this there exists y now. This there exists y. So to remove this, I told you either you substitute value of y or you introduce a function assuming that that function will return the required value. So I do not know exactly what is value of this y, what is father's name, because that is dependent on x. So remember here the rule, if there is more than one argument, you have to pass those other arguments as argument to the function so that that function correctly return the required value. So this is equivalent to for all x father of introduce a function, some function f for which the second argument will be argument and second argument will be as it is. So this is how we have removed this existential quantifier. But sometimes you may know the constant value. So in that particular case you can substitute that constant. For example, there exists some y such that precedent y. Now to substitute this value of y, that is if you have to remove this there exists y, you must know the value of y. Suppose you are referring to Indian context. So in that particular case we know President of India is Mr. Kovind. So simply I can substitute that value President Mr. Kovind as a constant value, and I have by that way removed this there exists y. So this is how you have to apply this step and you have to remove that existential quantifier. Next step is eliminate universal quantifiers. So now we have only for all quantifiers left. So you remove those for all quantifiers. You can simply remove them because we have already standardized variables. So let us make it out. Suppose we have for all x, for all y, p of x and q of y. Now our job is you have to eliminate this universal quantifier. So simply you can remove them because variables are already standardized, and I can write same thing in this way. This is equivalent to p of x and q of y. No problem, because all variables are standardized. So that's how, if required, you apply step number 6. Now step 7. In 7 we are converting the resultant formula into conjunction of disjunct. Now what is this conjunction of disjunct form? So conjunction of disjunct form is something like this. You will have set of terms connected by only or connective, or sometimes you may have all predicates connected by ors. So this is a single term. Actually we want this form, but if it is not, then you have to convert it into this conjunction of disjunct. Conjunction means ending and disjunction means oring. So this can be done by using result. We know that. Suppose I have A and B or C. This is equivalent to A and B or A and C. This is one result. Or you may have A or B and C. We know that this is equivalent to A or B and A or C. So this is the required form. So most of the time you will find out you will have to apply this particular formula because this is the form in which we are interested in. So use this distributive and associative laws so that you will get the required conjunctive normal form. Next step, step 8, sometimes you have to apply create separate clause for each conjunct, as we have seen in last example. In last example, suppose we got A or B and B or C, something like this. So now you will find out here there are two conjuncts. This is first and this is second. So you will have to separate them out, and that will result in two clauses. One clause is C1 and another clause will be C2. So C1 will be A or B and C2 will be B or C. So one clause has resulted in two clauses. Now when you do this, you will find out variables we have used in this first clause, same variable might be there in second clause. So earlier we have seen variable name should be unique. So again you will have to standardize variables, and that is your step number 9. Step 9 is again standardize variables. So here whatever variable names we have used in both the clauses, you have to standardize them. For example, let us see that situation might be something like this. Suppose we have clause C1 P of X or Q of Y, and in clause C2 we have Q of Y or R of XY, something like this. So this X has been used and Y also in both C1 and C2, so that is not allowed. So what we will do, we will apply step 9. So since one clause has resulted in these two clauses, because earlier it was something like this, C1 and C2. So what we have done, we have separated them out. We have considered each conjunct as a separate clause. So this will result in, so output will be P of X1 or Q of Y1, and C2 will be, this will be your C1, and C2 will be Q of Y2 or R of X2 comma Y2. So two different clauses, they are referring now different variables, and that you can do very well because these are variable names. Only substitution you have to carry out throughout, so that will give you the same equivalent clause without changing its meaning. So every statement will go through these 9 steps. Sometimes you may not need to apply all these 9. So ultimately you want conjunctive normal form and the output. So this is how you are going to convert statement into CNN. Now let us see example on this. Now in this example we have given a statement, little bit complex statement, but if you are able to convert it into the required clause form, you will be able to do most of the sentences. So that's why we have taken little bit complex example from Rich and Knight. Statement is all Romans who know Marcus either hate Caesar or think that anyone who hates anyone is crazy. So let us convert it into predicate logic form first. All Romans who know Marcus. So first I will convert it into the predicate logic form. All Romans. So you will have to introduce quantifier here for all x. If x is Roman, so instead of writing Roman, I will make it short ROM. All Romans who know Marcus. For all x, if x is Roman and if x know Marcus, so I will define no predicate. If this x know Marcus, now instead of writing complete Marcus, I will write MAR. Either hates Caesar or think that. Now that is implying something. So what I will do, I will put it into the square bracket. This is implying. That implies all Romans who know Marcus either hate Caesar. That means who hates Caesar? Roman hates Caesar. Roman is X. So I will put right hand side also, because everything now, that is conclusion of this. So hate, Roman hate, so Roman is X, Caesar. All Romans who know Marcus either hate Caesar or think that anyone who hates anyone is crazy. Now out here also one more implication is there, or think that anyone who hates anyone. Now two quantifiers. Anyone, that means it is universal quantifier, and second anyone is specific one, so that will be existential quantifier. So I will write on the next line, in the parenthesis I will put this in this way, for all y there exists some z such that anyone who hates anyone. So hate, now that first anyone is universal quantifier, that is y, who weights anyone. Second one is specific, so existential, that is z, implies or think that anyone who hates anyone is kg, or therefore for all y there exists some z such that if y hates z, that implies x think that y is crazy. So I will introduce think crazy predicate. X think that y is crazy. So complete this bracket and complete second square bracket. So this is how given statement we can represent it into the required predicate logic form. Now first you apply now first step in clause form conversion. What is your first step? Remove implication. So you will have to remove this implication as well as this implication. So this implication, if you remove, then not of this whatever you have on the left hand side or whatever is on the right hand side. So you are going to write not Roman x and not, that we will do afterwards, not Roman x and x no Marcus in the bracket, or right hand side as it is. To remove this implication, not of this left hand side or this right hand side as it is. So I will remove both the implications in one step. So that is equivalent to, write its equivalent form. This will be equivalent to not of this. First we will remove this first implication, not left hand side. So for all x as it is, not Roman x and no x Marcus, complete the bracket, or this right side as it is, hate x comma Caesar, or now this part here. Now we will remove this second implication, not of left hand side or right hand side as it is. But while doing this, now this y is, its scope is throughout this, so keep it outside, and this there exists z is associated with hate. So not you will be applying, before this there exists z, so that will give you, write this bracket as it is, for all y. Now not, there exists z, hate y z, not a or b, or think crazy xy. Complete the parenthesis. So that was how after applying step number 1 your statement will look like. Then apply step 2. Step 2 is reduce scope of not operators. Now find it out here. Scope of not, this first not, is both these predicates. So you reduce its scope by applying De Morgan's law. So this will become not for all x as it is, not Roman x, and will become or not no x Marcus. Then this will be as it is. Now this scope of this not is for both this. There exists z as well as hate. So apply De Morgan's law, that will give you for all y. This will become for all z, not of yz, and remaining formula as it is. So let us apply now step number 2. After applying step 2, now you will get equivalent formula. for all x as it is, for all x in the bracket, not Roman x or not no x Marcus, not Roman x, and will become or not no x Marcus. So this part we have done. Back. Now this or as it is, hit x comma Caesar as it is, or hit x hit x comma Caesar or x comma Caesar, then this or. Now after this part, for all y as it is, so next line I will do that, for all y. Now after this we have there exist z, not of whole this, so De Morgan's law we are applying, so this will become for all z. So for all z, scope of this not with individual predicate, for all z, not hit yz, not hit yz, remaining formula as it is, or think crazy xy, or think crazy x comma y. Now you be careful about the parenthesis. Okay, now it's correct. So that's how we have applied step number 2. You have reduced scope of not. Now you will find out not operator scope is with individual predicates. So out here this is not, second not, third not, that is associated with individual predicate. So that was step 2. Now step 3 is go back, make variables standardized. Now here check out variables. We have variable name for all x, then we have for all y, for all z. 3 variables, all are different. So already variables are standardized. So you need not have to apply step number 3. So here we will write this is after application of step 2. Then when we apply step 3, it is not required. Then step 4. Step 4 was move quantifiers to the left. So we will apply step number 4. So for all quantifiers we have for all x, for all y, for all z. So I will move them to the left. So your formula will become for all x, for all y, for all z. Remaining formula as it is. So not Roman x or not no x Marcus or hate x Caesar or not hate yz or think crazy xy. That's how we have removed all quantifiers to the left. So this is after application of step number 4. So we have moved all quantifiers to the left. Step 5, remove existential quantifier. So you will find out there is no existential quantifier. So step number 5 is also not required. 5 not required. Then step 6. Step 6 is eliminate universal quantifier. So what we will do, we will remove in step 6 all this universal quantifier. So for all x, for all y, for all z we will remove. So your resultant formula will be this remaining formula, that means not Roman x. So this formula as it is. Okay, I will write it again. Not Roman x, that will give you not Roman x, or not no x Marcus, then or het x Caesar, or het x Caesar. This was in square bracket. This is in another square bracket. Or in the round bracket now, not het yz, write on the another line, not het yz, or think crazy x comma y, or think crazy x comma y. So this is the resultant formula after removing your quantifiers. So whatever form now you have got, this is at the this is step number 6. Step 6, eliminate universal quantifier. So this is the output of step 6. Step number 7, convert your formula into conjunction of disjunct. Go back. Step 7, convert the given formula into conjunction of disjunct, that means C and F, that means it should contain all OR terms, and if at all they are connected by AND. So if you observe this formula, all connectives are here, or connectives. So you need not have to apply this step 7, but what we will do, we will simplify it, because all connectives are all connectives. So same formula you can write in this way. You have to remove those brackets, not Roman x, as it is we are writing removing brackets so that it will look simplified. X to Marcus, those brackets are not required though, or het x Caesar, or not het y comma z, or think crazy x comma y. Since all connectives are all connectives, you don't need those parentheses. So this is what you required formula in CNF form. This is called as conjunctive normal form. CNF. This is the required form, because if you see, now step number 8 is consider each conjunct as a separate clause. Now here there is only one conjunct. All are connected by ORs. Had it been case something like this, such a term and some other term something like this, then we would have applied step number 8. So since step 8 is not applied, step 9 will not come in picture. Because this step 9 is, if one clause result in more than one clauses, then you standardize variables. So already this is the required standard form. So this will be the output of application of this procedure, steps, all the steps that we have seen. You will get this, see how simplified this form is. This is equivalent to your original statement. It was something like this. This statement and this statement both are equivalent. So that's how we convert given statement into clause form. Now let us see one example. First we will convert the statements into clause form. This is example exercise question 4 from Rich and Knight book, page number 103. Statements are: John likes all kinds of food. Apples are food. Chicken is food. Anything anyone eats and is not killed by his food. Bill eats peanuts and is still alive, and so eats everything that Bill eats. Let us convert these statements into clause form. First, we have to convert the given statement into predicate logic form. So, John likes all kinds of food. For all x, if x is food, then that implies John like it. That's what this sentence means. If x is food, then John likes x. John likes all kinds of food. All food. So for all x we have used. Now convert it into the normal form. That is conjunctive normal form. So remove this implication. That will give you not food x or like John x. And here we have for all x as it is. So later on, scope of this thought is with individual predicate. You don't need no universal existential quantifier. That step is also not required. But here for all x, that is already on the left hand side, you can remove it. So now your statement will be not food x or like John x. This is the required normal form. Go to the second statement. Apples are food. Simple statement, single predicate. So its clause form will be as it is. Food already we have defined it in the same way. Food, apple. This is the required clause form. Similarly, third sentence, food, chicken. This is the required clause form. Next sentence, anything anyone eats and is not killed by his food. So implication is there. If anybody eats something, then if he is alive, then it is a food. So anything anyone. So two quantifiers here. First quantifier for all x. Second for all y. It will define if x eats y and if x is alive, not killed means alive, that implies y is food. Anything anyone eats. If x eats y, for all x, for all y, and if x is alive, that implies y is food. So let us convert this predicate logic representation into clause form. So first we will remove this implication. So not of left hand side or right hand side. So that will give me for all x, for all y, not in the bracket, eat xy or alive x, not this, or food y as it is. So A implies B is equivalent to not A or B, that we have applied. Now De Morgan's law, reduce scope of not operator, so that will give you for all x, for all y, not eat xy, and will become or not alive x or food y. Right? Now next step, move all quantifiers to the left. There is no existential quantifier. Now you can remove this therefore. So therefore now your formula will be not eat x, y or not alive x or food y. Right? So I think already it's in the required form, all predicates connected by or terms. So this is the required form. Next sentence, Bill eats peanuts and is still alive. So in predicate logic form, implication is there. Two statements ending of this, Bill eats peanuts, so that is equivalent to eat Bill peanuts, I will write PA, and alive already we have defined earlier, alive Bill. Bill is alive. So one clause has resulted in two clauses. So therefore your C1 will be eat Bill peanuts and C2 will be alive Bill. Step number 8. You don't need to standardize variables, or either you can call it C51 and this is C52 because this is fifth sentence. So clause form conversion we will name that as C5, but that has resulted in 2, so C51 and C52. Next sentence, Sue eats everything Bill eats. Implication is there. Whatever Bill eats, that Sue eats. That's what it means. Sue eats everything Bill eats. So whatever Bill eats, Sue eats. So implication, that is equivalent to whatever Bill eats, whatever. So quantification for all x. If Bill eats x, that implies Sue also eat that x. Simple. Now remove this implication, that will give you for all x, not eat Bill x or eat Sue x. Already it is on the left hand side, you remove it, that will give you not eat Bill x or eat Sue x. So this is the required clause form. So let us summarize what we have discussed today. We have discussed that resolution procedure, which is a procedure of inference that requires your statements in standard form so that there will not problem when you will resolve two clauses together. And during this resolution process you will have to find out pairs, something like this, P and not P. So to find out such a pairs, you have to match this P with this P, and therefore there should be consistencies in your representation. And for that purpose, first step is you will have to convert it into the standard form, and later on we are going to understand unification procedure which will help you to perform such a pattern matching. So that standard form is called as conjunctive normal form, we call that as CNF, and this CNF is a simplified form of your original predicate language statement, and we are going to use this in resolution as an input to the resolution procedure. In next class we will see how unification algorithm works.